Hi, I'm Sharon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to this gentle Pilates workout. So this is perfect if you are a beginner and new to Pilates, or maybe you've had a bit of a break and you're looking for something gentle to ease your way back in. We're going to start off on the hands and knees. You could put some padding underneath the knees for this exercise if you needed to, if it makes it a little bit more comfortable for you. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and then find that length through the spine. So we want all the natural curves of the spine to be in place, avoiding that dipping through the lower back or rounding through the top of the spine. So neutral spine with that length through your neck. And then we're going to extend one leg out behind. So you're going to slide the top of the foot along the floor. Extend the leg and then bring that leg back in underneath you. And do the same on the other side. Breathe out as you lengthen the leg. And breathe in as you slide it back under. What we're looking for here is stability, keeping that pelvis level. Keep that weight spread evenly through the hands. And you're aiming to keep all those natural curves of the spine in place. Now, if you feel quite stable, once you've extended the leg, lift it just a little bit away from the floor. And then slide the leg back under. If you don't feel ready to lift, that's fine. We're just going to keep the top of the foot down on the floor. If we are lifting, we're still trying to keep that pelvis level. So there's no movement of the pelvis side to side, but we're not moving the pelvis forward or back either. We're maintaining that natural curve through the lumbar spine. Let's do that a couple more times on each side. Breathing out as you lengthen and lift. Breathing in as you bring that knee back under your hip. Are you maintaining that nice length through the back of your neck? And stable through the shoulders here. So just check that you haven't started to drop your upper body weight into those shoulder joints. Got one more extension coming up. And then we're going to come over onto your side, prop yourself up onto your elbow. If you have a thin mat, you may just want to roll the end over. It's just a bit more comfortable under the elbow there. Knees bent, so your feet are slightly behind you. Make sure that elbow is directly underneath your shoulder, and then lift through your waist so you have that nice length through the upper body. And we're going to push the top hip up so that top arm reaches over and then slowly back down again. And we're going to do 6 lifts. Breathing out as we push that hip up and breathing in to bring it down. And we bring it down as gently as possible. So as that bottom hip touches the floor, we're not losing any of that length through the waist. Keeping the hips stacked so the pelvis doesn't roll forwards as we push the hip up. We've got one more on this side. Bring that hip down gently. We'll swap over. We'll do exactly the same on the other side. Elbow right underneath your shoulder. Take those feet behind you just slightly. And then that length into your waist before you lift the hips up. Breathing out and breathing in to come down. 6 again on this side. Want to feel a lovely stretch along that top side of the body as you reach the arm over. Taking that hip gently to the mat. We've got one more. And then release. Okay, we're going to lie down onto your back now. So lower yourself down gently. Bend your knees so that your feet are hip width apart, flat on the floor. And then we're just going to tilt the pelvis forward and back a few times. So as you tilt the pelvis back, you're going to feel your lower back press towards the floor. And as you tilt the other way, you feel that curve in the lumbar spine just increase slightly. So tilting back and then tilting forwards 3 or 4 times. And then we want the pelvis to settle into neutral, where we have that natural curve through the lumbar spine. Those hip bones are level. And then we're going to bring the arms down to the side of the body. Okay. As you breathe out, we're floating the right leg up to a tabletop position. And then we're going to breathe in and float it back down. As you breathe out, next time bring the left leg up. Breathe in and take it down. And focus on keeping the pelvis level. If it helps, you can place your fingertips on the hip bones. Just to remind you that you want to keep the pelvis level, but also staying in neutral. So we're not flattening the lower back, we're not increasing that lumbar arch. Now you can come back to this level at any time, or we can make it a little bit more challenging, bringing one leg up to tabletop and then the other leg, and then the first leg goes down and then the second leg, and then we'll start on the other side. So one leg at a time up to tabletop, one leg at a time back down. Bringing that second leg up, you will feel those core muscles working harder to help you maintain your neutral position. So if you find that your back is lifting and you're arching, then you're going to just go back to what we were doing before, so you've only got one foot off the floor at any time. So I'm breathing out as I bring the legs up one at a time, and then breathing in to take them down. Let's do that a couple more times. And release. Just move the arms out to the side, and we're just going to roll the knees one way, lift them back up to the center, roll across to the other side, and come back up to the center. Okay, we're going to turn over onto your side now, and you will need, in a moment or two, something to go underneath your head. So I've got a yoga block, but a folded towel or a cushion will work just as well. Have that handy. Reach the bottom arm out and bend your bottom leg. Your top leg is going to stay straight. So I'd like you to check that you've got the hips stacked here, one on top of the other, rather than the top hip rolling forward or back. We're going to lift that top leg up. You're going to really lengthen it so you feel that length through the waist, particularly through the bottom of the waist that's in contact with the floor. And then we're going to bring that leg forwards and slowly kick it back. And I want you to focus on all that movement coming from the hip rather than you tilting the pelvis forward and back. So your lower back is going to stay as close to neutral as possible. And we're just going going to start to just increase that movement. So we feel a little bit of a stretch in the hamstrings as the leg comes forward, a little bit of a stretch through the front of the hip and thigh as the leg goes back. Let's do one more in each direction. And then bring the leg down. Now we're going to straighten out that bottom leg. Bring your block or your cushion, whatever you have underneath your head. Bend your top leg and bring that hip forward slightly so that your knee can rest on the floor. If that's not comfortable, you could put another towel or a block underneath your knee and rest your knee on that. And then your bottom arm is going to hold on to that leg. Your top arm is going to come out in front and you're going to reach forward and then slowly lift that arm up and you're going to rotate. And then we're going to come all the way back over again. So we're keeping this top knee on the floor or on your block. So we're getting a nice twist, but we're not rolling the pelvis back. So I'm going to breathe out as I reach forward and lift up. Follow your hand around. So turn the head, follow your hand as it goes behind you. Let's do that one more time. Reach forward, exhale as that arm comes up. And then float the arm back over. Lovely. All right, let's do that on the other side. So I'm just going to spin around. So to begin with, we're going to extend that bottom arm. We're going to have the bottom knee bent and the top leg straight. Oops. As you lift the top leg up, and we're not lifting too high, we're just lengthening, creating that length into the waist. Fingertips can come onto the floor for support, and then we're going to start to kick forward slowly and then kick back. Stabilizing the pelvis, keeping that length through your waist. Just moving into that hip. Let's do that a couple more times. Keep lengthening through that top leg. And then we'll bring the leg down. Straighten out the bottom leg now. Putting whatever you have to use underneath your head. Maybe also underneath that knee. So that top leg is going to come over the top and then holding on with your bottom arm. So reach forward with your top arm. Slide forward. Breathe out as you float that arm over. And then bring the arm slowly back. Hand onto the floor and then gently reach forward. Lifting up, exhale into that twist. Making sure this top knee stays down on the floor. That's going to stop your pelvis from rolling back. And then we get that lovely twist. do that one more time. Bringing the arm back over, hand back onto the floor, because you're going to push yourself back up into a seated position. Move that out of the way. So seated with the legs extended, but just a slight bend in the knees, because we're going to place the hands onto the back of the thighs. And I want you just to press the hands into the thighs and see if you can sit up a little bit taller through the spine. Sitting on the floor can be quite tricky, especially if you're tight through the lower back and into the hamstrings. So just that little bit of extra help by pressing into the thighs. Get a bit more length into your spine. And then we're going to tuck the tailbone under, round through the back, start to roll back. We're just going to keep the hands on the thighs to begin with. And then we're going to slowly come back up again. And as you lengthen the spine, just press the hands into the thighs, really extend and lengthen, and then tucking under again. So we're breathing out to roll back. And then breathing in to come back up. And again, exhale, tuck that pelvis under. Think of your spine going into a curve, into a C shape as you roll back. And then as you come back on top of the sit bones, out of that C shape into a lovely long spine. Now you can keep the hands on the thighs if you'd like to, or we can put the arms out in front. And then we're going to roll back again. You may find that you can go an inch or two further back. But if you start to struggle to come back up, or if you feel that your feet are starting to lift off the floor, then don't go back quite so far on the next one. So you always want to feel that you're in control with this exercise, not using lots of jerky movements or using lots of momentum to bring yourself back up. And then that length through the spine in between each one. Let's do a couple more. Tucking under. Let the chin drop towards the chest slightly so that we're continuing that curve all the way through to the top of the spine. And one more. Breathing out to roll back. Breathing in to come back up. And then we're going to come into a seated position with the legs crossed or with the bottom of the feet together. So you may want to use your block or your towel again to sit on. Just makes it a little bit more comfortable. Placing one hand on the floor at your side, reach up and over with the arm and lengthen into the side of the body and lift back up. Do the same over to the other side. And lift it back up. Now bring your hands together in front. Press the backs of the hands away from you. Lower your head, drop your chin towards your chest, rounding through the top of the back. So think about those shoulder blades moving away from the spine, creating some space between them. And then we'll take the hands behind you, place your fingertips onto the floor. Lift your chest up and now bring those shoulder blades closer to the spine. Really open the chest and the front of your shoulders. Take your gaze up towards the ceiling. And release. Okay, roll through the shoulders. Thank you for joining me for this workout today. I hope you enjoyed it. Do check out my channel for other workouts. I have other beginner gentle workouts and other more intermediate workouts if you're looking for something a bit more challenging. And I will catch you again very soon.